Hey guys, Steve Palise here. Airbnb has been a game changer in the travel industry, providing an affordable and convenient alternative to traditional accommodation options. By matching property owners with potential guests, it has made it possible for people to rent out their homes on a short-term basis, providing a welcome boost to the sharing economy. But it's also raised a number of questions about how bookings are taxed and if property owners have access to tax deductions. Thankfully, just like with other investment properties, you can claim tax depreciation for all expenses that are incurred during generating your rental income. Typically, where the property is rented out, all of the costs involved in running the property will be tax deductible. If you rent out part of the property you're living in, you'll have to apportion the expenses according to the amount of time throughout the year that the property was rented on Airbnb. In other words, you can't claim for any expenses incurred while you were staying in the property. For example, if a property is available for rent for 180 days of the year and you live in it for the other 185 days, then only the portion of rental expenses that were incurred over that 180-day period is deductible. And where you rent out only part of the property, like a bedroom with access to shared areas in the property where you live, you can only claim expenses for the period the room is actually rented. So if you only rented out the room for 2 weeks in a year, you can only claim the portion of expenses for the rented part of the property that is related to that 2-week period. This is to stop you claiming deductions for periods where the room might be used for private or domestic purposes, even though it was notionally available for rent. Now, here's where it gets a bit tricky. These scenarios are split into 3 categories of tax deductions. Number 1, expenses directly associated with the rented area can be deducted in full. Number 2, expenses related to shared areas need to be apportioned. Number 3, expenses related to the host's private area only can't be deducted. Let's start with expenses that can be deducted in full. These include things like depreciation of the furniture used in the rented room, commercial cleaning of the rented area, repairs and maintenance, food such as breakfast provisions made available to the guest, professional photography for the listing, and service fees and commissions charged by Airbnb. Next, other expenses that need to be apportioned. Where there are expenses that relate to the entire property, you'll need to apportion them between the rented area and the area that you use privately. This is most often done based on the floor area used for renting compared with the total floor area of the property. Some examples of expenses that relate to the entire property that may be apportioned include mortgage interest or rent, council rates and utilities, and insurance. Expenses that relate to shared areas can be apportioned based on access. So, if the renter and landlord both have equal access to, say, the lounge and the kitchen, you can deduct 50% of the expenses. Examples of expenses that relate to shared areas only include depreciation on furniture and appliances located in the shared areas, like sofas, TVs, and kitchen equipment. Then there's the cost of internet, phone, and cable TV. And then, obviously, if you're living on part of the property, none of the expenses incurred for that space can be deducted. One more thing before I sign off on this video. If rental expenses exceed rental income, you'll make a loss. Just like with other types of long-term investment properties, this loss can essentially be claimed against your other income, such as salary. But most importantly, you'll need to keep a record of all your expenses. If you don't, you might miss out on some valuable deductions. There are some super handy paid apps that can assist you with this, plus the cost of the app per month will also be tax deductible, so your accountant will love you. I hope you found this was a helpful kickstart to get you to save on your Airbnb management expense. If you have any questions or would like to know more, drop a comment down below or reach out to me. Otherwise, remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with friends or family looking to invest in an Airbnb property. I'm Steve Palise, author of Residential and Commercial Property Investing Explained Simply. Cheers.